speak English?
Yes, yes.
Yeah? Has anybody ever explained to you what's being said? How are you?
All right.
Has anybody ever explained to you what goes on in the mosque, what the adhan you're hearing means?
Some of it.
Yeah?
I know some, you know.
Yeah? Share with me what you know.
Well, I know about the imam and the mirab, where it sits. And,
Particularly the adhan. You know what the adhan just...
the adhan?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It started off with Allahu Akbar, which means God is the greatest, God is the greatest.
Yes.
Then it says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Declaration of that there's nothing worthy of worship except the Creator, in Arabic, Allah.
Yes.
Then I bear witness.
That's the Shahada?
Yeah. And this is how someone is, because in this adhan, this is Islam. This is the whole teachings right there, summed up. So then the testimony goes as follows, that there's nothing worthy of worship except the Creator, and I bear witness that Muhammad is the messenger.
Yes.
Now, if you didn't know this, that when you testify that Muhammad is the messenger, the last messenger sent by God, you automatically include Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and all the preceding messengers.
Yes.
Because guess what message they came with?
That God was the only one.
You got it. They came with Islam. And this is what we practice in Islam. You know what Islam means?
Yes.
What?
No, go on, you tell me.
Islam is to submit your will to the Creator. And this is how you achieve peace.
Yes.
Right?
So you have the 5 pillars.
Then you have now the first pillar we just discussed, the pure monotheism of declaring first a negation. You're saying, look, I'm not going to worship Jesus.
Yes.
I'm not going to worship the money in my pocket. I'm not going to worship a stick, a stone, a bone, nothing other than the one who created me. Make sense?
Yes.
That just goes with our nature. And then now if I testify that, like if you guys did that right now, you'd be considered Muslim. That's how simple and easy it is.
Yes.
Then you'd say, okay, now you got to fulfill, because talk is cheap, you got to fulfill those actions with the pillars. Praying 5 times a day, giving in the charity, the zakat, yes, fasting during the month of Ramadan, and then
Hajj.
You're there.
Yes.
You too. You know the African Americans, Muhammad Ali, the Malcolm X.
Yep.
You have the transatlantic that came over. This injustice that happened to the African Americans.
Yes,
The majority of those that were brought unjustly to the Americas were Muslim.
Yes,
Kunta Kinte was Muslim. He was one who submitted to the will of God.
Yeah.
You guys ready to come back to your roots?
Good question.
Yeah?
Very interesting.
Do you agree? Do you agree with the things that I'm sharing with you?
I agree with what you've said. Yes.
Now let me add one more thing. Do you guys come from a Christian background? Or
I do come from a Christian background.
Did you know that Islam is the only non-Christian faith, which makes it an article of faith? Because there's a 6th article of faith in there that you believe in the messengers. To believe is Jesus is one of the mightiest messengers ever sent. If you deny Jesus, you can buy yourself a one-way ticket to the hellfire in Islam. So you have to honor him, not as a God or as a literal son of God, but as a messenger of God, that he came with the same message as Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad. Worship only one God. Hear, O Israel, as the Bible said, the Lord thy God is one. That's the universal way of life from the beginning, the first man Adam, all the messengers until the last messenger, Prophet Muhammad, and then he came with the evidence, the Quran. So anybody who's sincere, who's genuine, looks at the Quran, because I can make these claims, everyone can make claims, but now you put it to the test, and you read it, open it up, and you say, hold on, there's no way this can come from a human being, right? And then you end up...
Yes. So I know about him going out into the desert and then it's Jibril or Gabriel who's giving him the word.
Same angel that God Almighty communicated to the other prophets, same thing from here. He would seclude himself. The people used to worship idols, right?
Yes.
So then from there, the message came to him, and then he came out to the people and delivered that message. So what we have now, because one, we have a believable message. Like when I talked about, I'm not talking about worshiping statues or aliens or flying monsters. We're talking about worshiping the one who created us. And then from there, now we look at the Quran. We look at the miracle of the Quran, how it's been preserved. Over 23 years, we have it. Now, you can have a translation in Bosnian and Spanish and English, but the original is in the Arabic. So now, when you look at the preservation of the Quran, when you look at the things, the prophecies that are mentioned in there, when you look at the facts, not fiction, in there of the human development of the embryo and other facts, that there's no way that this human being, this Bedouin in the desert, could have known these things. And then other predictions that from his life that he had prophesied, and you're like, hold on, believable message, this book could not have come from him or a group of men. Now you're left with no other alternative but to either turn away or to submit to what God told us to do. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
Can you tell me about the type of Islam that was practiced in this area?
in here,
There's Sufism around here, or?
so in here, jesu počeli klanjati? Jesu počeli? Okay, yeah. Okay, so what you have here is you have the Orthodox following, because God Almighty, when He sent the Quran, then you have the Prophet Muhammad. Same thing as during the time of Jesus. If you're living during the time of Jesus, you'd have to not go ahead and jump over His teachings. You have to go, not worship Him, but believe in the message He came in. He came with the Injil, and He was a walking instruction manual to that. Same thing during the time of Moses, the Torah. He came with the Torah, and then he was explaining that. Now you have Prophet Muhammad, who came with the Quran and his Sunnah, his example. So those who follow his Sunnah, they would label them Sunnis, the followers of the Sunnah. You follow me? So this is what you have here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Sunni.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you guys? I see you know some prior knowledge.
Yeah, yes.
It's very nice to see you guys here. Also.
Oh yeah. But we've travelled a lot in Turkey.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. We travelled a lot in Turkey. All right. No, I said we travelled a lot in Turkey, and we visited a lot of mosques there, and we've also been around in Albania and the area, and so.
Man, you guys are like family already. Yeah. You see, like, you know, I'm very passionate about sharing the message. There's a lot of misconceptions about Islam.
Yes, yes.
And what we try to do is, you know, through my program, clear the misconceptions, deliver the message, share it. There's no coercion. You can't force someone. But we've seen so many people studying Islam, but they have never been invited.
Right.
So we also let people know that at any time, anyone, this is not a way of life that's exclusive to the Arab or the Bosnian.
Yes, no.
This is for you, for everyone.
Yes, yes.
So at any time, if someone feels like, look, I just want to connect with my Creator, I believe Muhammad is the messenger, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadur Rasulullah, that's the Shahada,
Yes.
nothing worthy of worship, like the Adhan we started with, that I declare that there's nothing worthy of worship except the one who created me, the creator of the heavens and earth. In Arabic, Allah, Aramaic, the language Jesus spoke, he would say Allah, Elohim, right?
Yes.
And now I'm going to live according to God's will, not my desires. You're a Muslim. And then you take those baby steps and you start learning and learning, growing, implementing as much as you can. And then when you make a mistake, you turn to God, the most merciful, the most loving, and you keep moving forward. You know what I mean? Like you fall off the bike, but you get right back on. Yeah. I think the prayer is going to start.
I know. I would have gone in, but I don't have to go in while prayers are on. So.
If you guys are still around, if you have any questions, I'll answer. I'm going to go pray. What's your name?
Thank you. Gary.
Gary, nice meeting you.
And this is Elaine.
Nice meeting you. Yes.